Hey everybody, Steve here with Printavo, and in this video we're going to show you how you can manually add approvals and mockups to the quotes that you build in Printavo. Now, there is an automation process that you can take advantage of to automate your approvals and automate adding your approvals and so forth. We're going to cover that in a different video, but the purpose of this video is to cover manually added approvals and mockups and artwork in general. Now, to get started, we're going to use the quote that we built in our previous video with our purple polos. One difference, I just added some imprint information in the second box, but otherwise it's exactly the same as the one we just built. But now what I want to do is get let's get the quote approved, right? We got, $900 on the table. We want the customer to say, yep, I'm willing to pay that. And then we can work on our art, send that out for approval as well. Now, what I'm going to do first, right, is go to my Messages tab. And within my Messages tab, you'll see I have no messages have been sent yet, and that's just speaking about this particular job, because the messages that are sent out from a job are linked to the individual job. Right? But you'll see what I can do is have this button down here that says attach approval. Now, when I click this button that says attach approval, you'll see I have a whole bunch of options. Now, it's likely that you have less options here than I do. The reason for that is I've just over time built a bunch more, but you can add as many approval types as you'd like. I'm just going into my account in a new tab here. And if you click the approvals button, you'll see you can add any type of approval you want just using this new approval button. Now I'm going to go ahead and click the attach approval button. And what I'm going to do is click the quote approval button because I want to get the quote approved. Again, you can use automations to automate that action, and you can use the automations to automate messaging, but there are cases where you will want to do that manually. So if I want to manually add in a message, I can just type out the message myself with the subject line, hello, or whatever message you're writing to your customer. Or I can create message templates, which are also created under my account in the messaging tab. But let's go ahead and use my preset template for a quote approval. And then I can send this out to the customer, right? Now, what I'm going to do here is pop over to my public invoice view. We covered this in the last video, but in case you didn't see it, the public invoice view is what the customer is seeing at that given moment if they happen to be looking at their quote or invoice. Right? And now, because I clicked this, the button that said attach approval, the customer now has a button that allows them to approve or decline the quote. Right now, if I click this X, maybe I put the wrong approval on. Right, I've unattached the approval. I'll refresh this page. You'll see that goes away. So if I click attach approval, I select my quote approval again, and I refresh. You'll see that button appears. On that note, I would like to point out that it's not necessary to send a message manually if you're using the attach approval button. The second you click the approval type to attach, it will be added to the customer's public invoice view, and they'll just be able to approve or decline. If they don't see it, they might just have to refresh. Now, once they're ready to approve the quote, they look at the $900. They say, great, I'm willing to pay that to move on to next steps. Then they can click this blue button here that says quote approval. Say, type their name in, say Steve from Printavo in this case, that's me. And I'm going to click approve. Now, once this approval processes, if you look over here on the right side, you'll see we're being transparent with that approval to our customer, right? So this public invoice view is going to evolve with the job. So if anybody on the customer end has any questions about the approval, who approved it, when it happened, we're keeping that there for them, right? I just want to call attention to this green button that's asking for payment. That's linked to an automation that we have set up that auto requests payment. So you can disregard that for this example, but that's just what that is. Now, the customer's approved the quote, right? Perhaps you have an automation set up that says when the customer approves the quote, we are going to change the status to quote approved, or maybe you're manually changing that status to quote approved. Either way, when we're ready to add art, right, we're ready to add mockups to our line item groups or to our line item groups, all I need to do is click this button that says edit. And when I click the edit button, we're going to be taken back to the quote creation screen, but with the information that we've already filled in. So this edit page is also, if you need to edit quantities or prices or mockups. I always say nothing in Printavo is permanent unless you want it to be. And then if you want it to be, you just don't make those changes. But with respect to adding mockups, right, there's two places you can add mockups in Printavo, right? Number one is via the imprint box. And I can use the specific imprint boxes, or I can click the sort of blanket imprint box here to bring up both. And you can add individual mockups or tech packs to the specific imprint group that's going to, in theory, sort of encompass the entirety of the line item group, right? So, that just tells production, hey, this is the work that we're going to be doing on this group. Now, on that note, these imprint boxes that you see here, these will always be visible to the shop. It's up to you if you'd like the customer to see them or not. That's just a setting in your account, but that's a personal shop preference. Now, what I've done here, if I save it, you'll see the mockup is attached specifically, again, to the imprint. And here, I just want to show you what it looks like for the customer. Once this saves, I'm going to go ahead and refresh this. So that's been added for them, right? But you can also, right, add mockups to the individual line items. So if, for example, you had, maybe this little smiley face design was going on a bunch of different products, right? Perhaps the smiley face design would be your imprint upload, and then the individual line items for the different products can can demonstrate to the customer what that design is going to look like on those specific products. Now, a quick note about these uploads. You can upload any file type that you'd like and as many files as you'd like. The only stipulation is that a single file has to be smaller than 50 megabytes. That's 50. Now, one other note about these mockups, right, both in the imprint box and on the line item, is these are public facing. These are accessible to the customer, right? Now, if you want to have art storage in Printavo that the customer doesn't have access to, so perhaps for color separations, Illustrator files, Corel files, embroidery files, whatever, there is a feature on the premium tier of Printavo called production files. Again, it's got that word production in it, so it's an internal only feature. But what's nice about the production files is you can save your hard work internally. This will live with the job forever. And if you need to duplicate this job for a reorder in the future, then you have not only your mockups ready for your customer, right, but you also have your internal files. One other thing I'd like to call out for shops who do embroidery, right? Or perhaps if this is a repeat order and you just want to have a more, I'll say, practical example of what the product looks like, you can, using the file uploader, and this is true of the file uploader anywhere, but I'm just giving the example of the line item group, is you can actually take a live photo and immediately upload that photo to the line item. So if you want to show what a sew out looks like, right? Or maybe, you've finished this job, you want to show, you want to store the test prints, right? So the customer remembers exactly what it looks like if they don't have access to the shirts anymore. You can take those live photos and automatically upload them to the line item. Right, but now that we've added the mockups, right? If we want to get this art approved, then I can go to my messages. Just to recap here, I can attach an artwork approval. That just turned on my artwork approval button. If I want to back that up with a message, I can use one of my preset templates that I've created, or manually type out that message. Right, send that out, and then when I refresh here, you'll see instead of a quote approval, we have an artwork approval. Right. Now, just to show you, if a customer hits decline, they'll put their name, their email, the requested changes, and that'll come back to you. But once again, if they can click that artwork approval, now they'll be able to preview the images. In this case, I use two of the same images and I'm scrolling back and forth using the left and right arrows. But same process, right? Steve from Printavo. I'm going to approve it. And again, we're going to store that approval and timestamp it. So that's how you attach approvals manually using Printavo, as well as attach mockups and art files to your jobs. If you have any questions about this process or how we can better help your shop and your workflow with approvals and artwork, please don't hesitate to reach out to your dedicated success manager. If you're not sure who that is, you can email us at success, success, at printavo.com. Or if you're not yet a Printavo customer, please feel free to reach out to sales at printavo.com, and we will be happy to run a demonstration for you, learn about your shop, and how we can better help you grow your business. Once again, thank you so much for your time, and have a wonderful day.